is not going to stop us because there's work, a lot of work to be done. Now, we start off inside Rivers on the office beat today, talking about bullying and self-defense for children. Oh, yes, self-defense for children. Now, I found a company, a Nigerian company that teaches self-defense, and it's available for all individuals. So senior citizens, in the workplace, they try and teach you what to do, how to do, and all of that. But why am I focusing on the self-defense for children? Now, every single morning, and I mean every single morning, when I make my way down to this studio or when I'm done at the end of the day, I get to see children, as we've seen for the better part of 4 decades, walking to school. Some of them in tow with their friends, some of them is just them and their siblings, 2 or 3. Now, very often, I am very touched by the magnanimity and obviously the sense of community on the streets of Port Harcourt when individuals get to see these young children trying to make their way across the road. They say, hey, wait, make the children pass. It's very admirable, and I like to encourage that. It's something that we all should not stop doing. But what I also know is that in some of these places, whether it is at their schools or as they travel or as they walk home, they get bullied. And none more so than what I saw yesterday. Leaving this place, getting back home, a young man, I would place him somewhere between 18 and 23. All right. Got to see some children. Probably they look like JSS1 or very young, all chitty chatty, all of that. And then this young man tried to pull one of the girls aside, say, "And they call you, why they answer me?" I was far away. I saw the scuffle. And next thing, ladies and gentlemen, was an almighty slap from this child. You never know how powerful a child is until a child decides to slap you. The slap was legend. It was loud enough to get the people who were around, because a lot of people were not paying attention. But when they heard the slap, what's going on? I said, this uncle is disturbing me. And then everybody, hey, wait till they worry. I said, they call her, call her for waiting. And she just and people go. Oh, yeah, people keep going. That situation was diffused, but it got me thinking, how many of you are teaching your children self-defense? Unfortunately, in the US, as the biggest debate right now, talking about gun control, I've seen videos, some of you have seen videos of children, 15, 16, 17, even 10-year-olds being taught how to use a gun. I have a big problem with that, because if you teach a child between the age of 10 and 15 to use a gun, a child doesn't quite know how to manage their temperament. So what happens when the child is angry with somebody and has access to the gun? You can say, oh yes, the parents are keeping the gun safe. But what if? So I'm asking, what kind of defense training is appropriate for children? I do not know where that little girl, had the presence of mind to slap that uncle away. But I'm curious to wonder if it was taught by her parents. Ladies and gentlemen, let us have a conversation.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeriainfo FM. Nigeriainfo, let's talk.
And now, hello Port Harcourt with Jude on 92.3 Nigeriainfo.
017-923-0003, 0817923-0003. We're talking about self-defense for children. The world is a dangerous place. We can't deny that. All right. And we have physical and mental aspects also in the fray. And bullying. Children get bullied in primary school and secondary school. So what kind of self-defense training is appropriate for children, particularly here in Port Harcourt? What would you be teaching them to do? I would like to get to hear. WhatsApp is 0809 030 6416. 0809 030 6416. At Nigeria Info. PH at Nigeria Info. PH is where you'll find us on Facebook and on X at Nigeria Info. PH at Nigeria Info. PH. Talking about children and safety, what exactly are you, or are we still doing? All right, inshallah, don't worry, God is going to protect them. Just go, God is protecting you, my child. God is protecting. I remember that's what my mom said those days. Yes, but hey, if you saw what I saw yesterday, whoa, you would not want to take the risk. Muriel is on the line. Let's get to hear from her this morning. Muriel's a woman, right? From Okrika. Good morning to you, Muriel.
Hi, Jude. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome, please. Very quickly. Let me hear you.
Jude, I think young teenage girls, little girls, become stages. I've said this before. And in a serious way, that is what it is, honestly. But self-defense, that little girl took it to the extreme.
She did?
Who can blame her? Who will? Maybe she has insulted this man. She has said all manner of words, yet he's not taking it, and he's still insisting. And she now went to that point. Look, Jude, mother should continue to begin to train their little girls. For me, I have two teenage girls, one in university and one is still in secondary school. I look, an elderly man comes to you, a man, even a young boy, but especially a man, it's so annoying, a man that has daughters. Give him the salt of his life.
Insults.
Especially when you know that you have daughters. Tell him to do that thing he wants to do, so let him go and do it to his daughters. Insult him very well. Then let him come with me. But and still tell me so that I will confront that person. Me, I will confront a Jew. I will. But if it gets to the extreme, slap. If possible, look, these girls are endangered species, and we should teach them. They said if the hunter stops shooting, continues to shoot, then the bird will continue to fly without touching. These are strategies. You teach them. The times are getting so tough, so teach them to be tough.
Oh, including slapping. Interesting.
Stay with us. Nigeria Info. We'll be
Omamegbe. This morning, we're talking about self-defense training, particularly for children inside rivers. Yes. Now, this is coming off the bat of an interesting experience I had a few days ago. I think it was yesterday or the day before. But anyway, I did have that experience, and I thought, okay, how best do I share this and also find out from you, the parents and prospective parents, what you think about self-defense training. Now, when we were in primary school, I don't think it was for self-defense. I don't know. Maybe it was in a bit, probably get into sports. But there were taekwondo classes, right, that were being offered here in Port Harcourt. Now, I don't know if they still offer them. So please, if you are listening to me by chance, all right, and you have a child, say, between the age of 9 and 15, are you aware of any self-defense class, maybe like taekwondo classes? Maybe not for him to protect himself and become Batman or something, but maybe you're trying to get him to be interested in sports so that maybe he can represent Nigeria at the Olympics in taekwondo or jiu-jitsu or something. But whether or not you know of those defense classes, are you teaching your children to protect or defend themselves when they're outside the house, when they're making their way to school, or when they're in school as well? At no point in time are you guaranteed that your child is just going to go to school and come back and everybody will say, "Hi, how are you, kumbaya?" Not guaranteed. So when confrontations arise, when difficult scenarios arise, what have you been teaching the children? Are you teaching them anything, if at all? I don't know.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeriainfo FM. Nigeriainfo, let's talk.
All right, let's get to the phone lines. Zion is on the line. Zion is speaking to us from GRA. Zion, good morning to you.
Thank you very much, Jude.
Good morning.
This discourse now will make the heart of every parent to skip, especially those whose children are in school or far away from them. Mr. Jude, it's not in the African culture and tradition to teach your children self-defense. And your children should not even learn that. It's not in their right to defend themselves. Because in the African culture and tradition, the mechanism to defend them is already there. If you dare touch a child, somebody must surely oppose you. Somebody must question you. You can't even touch a child. Because children are glorious to our communities. Our toiling from morning to night is for our children. The society will formulate it to protect them. But since we start imbibing cultures we know nothing about, see how cumbersome it is now to raise up our own children. We are now afraid. Even our children are afraid of us as parents. I'm telling you the truth. So if you teach them self-defense, what about uncle molesting them at home?
That's part of the defense. They should be able to speak up. Don't you think so?
Speak up. Jeez. Yeah, living as if you are in America.
No, but I've heard of stories. I'm sure you probably have heard of stories of children, both boys and girls, who have at one point has said, "Hello, mommy, Uncle Jude, I was doing this to me, or Auntie Janet did this to me."
You do. Economical factors have silenced the voice and the mouth of these children. Economic them the money or the auntie. If those things are like that, why not reporting matters? If these things, do you know that the reasons of these kids they left the house to live on the street is because there was no protection at home. They are being molested at home. There are uncles right now sleeping with their cousin, with their uncle. I will even call it them.
Their nephews and nieces.
I'm telling you. I've seen cases where this girl ran away. I'm not going back to that house. What is the problem? I will not talk because you don't want to embarrass or disgrace the person in public. Can we, for once, go back to our cultures and traditions?
Zion, as poignant as those words you just mentioned are, it still boils down to the fact that children still need to be protected, and if they can be protected 247, since you got higher mobile.
Way those children can be protected, number one, who is the father? If you as the father cannot be there to protect your child emotionally, psychologically, and otherwise, he or she cannot. I'm going to be in a situation the child want to talk, the parents are asking to shut up.
True.
Keep quiet.
True.
That alone, you have killed the child. The child is dead on arrival. Can you allow, number one, allow them to speak at home? Allow them to conduct the morning service prayers and everything. Allow them to pray for you. Allow them to air their views. Allow them to say what they want to eat in the morning. Give them the voice at home. If they can speak at home, they can speak anywhere because they know they have the father that encourages them. They have the mother that encourages them. And when they do well, give them the privilege to celebrate them. And if they miss it, don't say they failed. We always people say you failed. Don't say they failed. You miss your result. Try hard next time. You miss this thing. Do it like this. We need to change our vocabularies towards these kids. Number one, that is the only way you can defend them. If they can speak at home, they can speak anywhere.
Zion, thank you very much. All right, messages now, okay? All right, 08090306416, 08090306416. All right, Desmond says, on different occasions, my siblings would complain to me how their schoolmates bully them at school. My nephew once had a classmate beat his eyes. When I asked him what he did in return, he said he didn't do anything. I asked his mom what they did, and they said they warned the school management. For me, that would be my third option. So I told them how to react each time anyone hits them or tries to bully them. I am proud of the reply I got last week when I visited. Call me Uncle Violence if you will, but I prefer my children to defend themselves even before a teacher comes in. Desmond with that comment. Thank you very much, Desmond. Interesting. So Desmond is advocating, teach them how to protect themselves. If someone physically, invades their space, they should be able to, respond and also protect themselves. There is absolutely nothing wrong with what that little girl did. Sisterhood is proud of her and the mother or father or older siblings who taught her. Next lesson, biting. Bite the pervert too. Then shout loudly and trust Nigerians. They will redesign the face, body and psyche of a pervert so that he will never pose a danger to any other girl. That's from Anonymous. But let's be very careful, all right? I can understand emotion. Like I said, the sentiments for me were valid. I was angry. I didn't see everything that happened, but the fact that the girl shouted, "Leave me," with an almighty slap was indicative that something was wrong in that short exchange. Something was obviously wrong. But I don't know. I know I've read overnight and yesterday afternoon while I was preparing for this conversation, I have read that some schools they teach children jiu-jitsu. They teach them some form of martial arts. In Chinese schools, they teach them that. The idea is not for the child to become violent. The idea is to teach the child how to restrain their emotions and then know when to protect his or herself. But if we're now telling you that anybody that you don't like, touch you, slap you, it's a very fine line here we're treading. Very fine line. Anyway, let's get back to you. 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0002. All right. At Nigeriainfo PH, at Nigeriainfo PH is where you'll find us on Facebook and on X at Nigeriainfo PH, at Nigeriainfo PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. And if you just join us, we're talking about self-defense for children. What sort of self-defense training should you offer your child or your children? My last caller says, look, just let them be able to speak, give them a voice, let them encourage them so they don't feel afraid. That way, when something goes wrong, they can readily report to the appropriate authorities, right? Now, some of you on WhatsApp, another message has come through here. It said, Jude, I'm waiting to just get some money, and I'm going to send my daughter to that school where you say that they can teach them how to fight. I don't want anybody to touch my daughter. But by the way, I don't know where that place is. I'm only asking a question. Like I said, when we were in primary school, there were classes. Some schools had classes for Taekwondo, right? And I guess back then the aim was to try and get children to be involved in Taekwondo so maybe they can represent Nigeria, at the Olympics or whatever. I'm not quite sure it was for them to, be slapping people on the road. I don't quite think so. But I don't know. I really don't know. All right, 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0007. All right, that's where you can call us and have a conversation with us. Our WhatsApp number is 0809 030 6416, 0809 030 6416. All right, please, once again, don't call that last number. Just send us a message. I'll read it and you definitely be part of our conversation. Good morning, Mr. Jude. Self-defense should be the part of the training of children. We have heard of bullying in boarding and secondary schools. Very true. We cannot even deny that in this country, right? And one way to ward off such bullies is self-defense. So for me, children should be taught self-defense, as there are times when the parents will not be around them. I think all sorts of martial arts should be taught to these children. Thank you. Interesting. Ken is in Ubumini. Ken, good morning to you. Welcome to the conversation, please.
Good morning, Jude.
Welcome.
Jude, I attended St. Andrew's Primary School, my one view, Port Harcourt.
Oh, wow.
When I was in Primary 3, Primary 5 and 6 pupils normally come to call me to fight for them in their own defense. So our advice, or my advice to nowadays children, is if any of their mates, looks for their trouble or fight them, they should fight back. But if they are senior, they are elderly ones, look for their trouble, they should look around for their teachers and report to them. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Ken from Ubumini. All right, let's get back to WhatsApp. All right, 0809 030 6416, 0809 030 6416. All right, that's when we get messages. You can send a message on Telegram with that number as well. Just opening Telegram app. We get a lot of hi, hellos, and what do you call those things? Group ads. Yeah, on Telegram, everybody's trying to tell something. You see more highs, more hellos. All right, okay. Now, let me get back to this number. This one here says, hi, Jude, good morning. Self-defense is a pretty good thing for everybody, particularly in a country like ours where a lot of people seemingly have no respect for people's boundaries. I would definitely encourage all individuals, particularly women, to go for self-defense classes. All right, thank you very much, Ike. But the question is, where can people go for those self-defense classes? I don't know anyone. Do you? Oh, there. Sorry, that's a drop call scenario. I don't know anyone. I really don't. So, what are you as a parent? Teaching somebody sent a message that they told their nephew what to do. And I think this last message I read is very apt. You as a father, the mother, you will not be there all the time. You cannot be with your child 24/7. You have to work. They have to go to class. 92.3. Hello, Potako. Good morning to you, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. I'm the first time caller on the show.
Oh, welcome, please. What's your name?
Yes. My full name is Samuel Pinadri, aka the Music Emperor. I'm calling you from NT Road.
All right, go on, Samuel. Talk to us.
Yeah. Well, I really love the conversation this morning. You know, this thing you guys are all talking about there. If it's something that is put into like if it is something that is done, it will reduce the case of abuse and all of that. Not just for the children only, also for the adults. Also for adults as well. It's going to reduce a lot if it's done the right way. Like when I mean the right way, because this training there, I understand that. As much as I understand that this training, they don't just train them. They don't just train them. They also train them to let them know that it's not actually for violence.
Okay.
It's not just to attack. It's also for unity. Not just for to control your emotions. It's also for unity as well. You understand?
So would you be looking forward to training your children? I don't know if you have children. Forgive me, sir. But would you be looking forward to training your children to defend themselves?
Before you ask, yes, it's a yes for me. But first of all, I'm looking forward to training myself first. More on it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm good at them a little bit, but train myself more on them. But yes, all of them, train them on it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Different species and all of that. Different sports that, as long as it's related to it, it's part of it and all of that.
You send them
all on it. For sure, 100%.
Okay, all right. Seems like a determined individual to get self-defense classes up. Okay, all right. This one here says, hi, Ju, good morning. I think we need to come to the point where we should realize that the government has not done too much in terms of defending the rights of every Nigerian. So it is now time for us, since we've already been providing our power, our land, and our water, to start to defend ourselves. If you are honest, most of these attacks happen all across Nigeria, happen because the people could not defend themselves. Interesting. So the defense training is not just for our children, but even for the adults, for the community. Okay. All right. I'm not teaching my child to go start anything. I did martial arts as an adult, and in the dojo where I learned, we were taught not to be the troublemaker. But if anyone starts, we should finish it or stop it from escalating. That's the approach I'm taking with my children. Absolutely nobody should attempt to touch, abuse, molest, or encroach on their boundaries, and their only response will be to cry. Nah, I'm not trusting any school to handle it completely, because some teachers are willfully blind, and even when they don't fake blindness to who the troublemaker is, the bully would have already done the damage. Nelson is on the line from Akpajo. We also have Williams standing by, but let's hear from Nelson. Nelson, good morning to you, please.
Good morning, youth.
Yes, good morning.
Talking about the self-defense of our children.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, please.
If it comes to their peers, that is their age group, self-defense is recommended. But if it comes to their seniors, like you rightly said when you were doing the introduction, they are living with their uncles, their aunties. These people are very seniors. And you want the child to defend. A child is a child. And so defending himself before is an insult. So by calling that person a child, it means that the defense of that child is dependent on the adult. If it's in school, the child has access to the teachers and to the very senior. I said, this is what this person has done to me. And I know that every children, if you abuse a children, it will boil down to crying. Because he has no self-defense. That child will be crying, weeping. So that is the mind and the posture of every children. And so what is left for that child is to look for an adult
to make a complaint
and report what has happened to him or her. So I think that is my opinion.
Okay.
But for the peers, the child, I will teach my child, if your colleague insult you, bully you, bully him or her back. Because if he does the first time and you don't respond, it will take you to for play. It will be playing on you, bullying you every other time.
But we don't support bullying, so I don't think bully is the appropriate word. Williams is in Ozoba. Williams, good morning to you, please.
Hello?
Hello, good morning to you, sir. Welcome.
Yeah, this is Mr. Williams from Ozoba.
Go on, please.
Yeah. Coming to what you are about self-defense.
Yes, please, for children.
Yes. You see, I always advise my children to be on self-defense. They should not allow their classmates to be treated when they are in the class, especially their mates. One day, my daughter, just 7 years old, she came back from school telling me that one of our classmates beat her kids and her kids are paining her. I said, why? Why did you allow him to go? Is it a boy or a girl? It's a boy. And I told her, next time, don't allow him to debate you. How old is he? She said the boy is about 10 years and she's 7. You know what? After 2 days, she came.
Oh dear. Williams, apologies. You got disconnected. Hi, Jude. When I was little, a group of 9 children came to attack I and my friends. 9! Ha! What's going on? So it was a case of 9 against 3. They came with weapons and people were not in the compound or neighboring compound that day. If we never knew how to defend ourselves, we would have been beaten. So self-defense is a must. Ha! That's crazy. 9? What did you guys do? God's Time on Facebook. Let's get to Facebook quickly as we wrap up our conversations. God's Time says, good morning, Jude. Man is a political animal, don't forget. So it is natural to see some upset of person trying to overshadow some persons. Jude, for this issue of self-defense, it is really not a good idea. If you take a critical look, you see that this self-defense has brought about high rate of disrespectful young people today in our society, even in the Western world. For me, parents need to teach their children how to avoid every form of violence. Imagine say you no go there to defend. Imagine say you go they do self-defense for cultists. We must learn the way of peace. But then again, those gang members that you guys call cultists were bullies. I agree with the last caller. Yes, it's good to, particularly if the person is older than you, get to report. Don't be afraid of reporting. But when the person is your peer, imagine. I don't know how many of you have ever had this experience, but in Uniben, never forget this. In Uniben, one young guy, was walking, into campus from one of the back gates. All right, because then in Uniben there was the custody gate. There was obviously main gate, and then there was the one that used to come up from Federal Road, where you had the hospital. That's UBTH. All right. So there's a gate that could take you from there into the main campus. This guy was walking in. And then 2 guys just walked up to him. Peers. What I mean peers? He was probably like year 2 or something. So these guys were probably in their final year or at best, year 3. And I said, Chairman, this is your shoe, fine. Remove them. Give me. In broad daylight. That's bullying. He doesn't know them, or rather, back then he didn't know them. hadn't had any. They asked, no, this is your shoe. I like him. Go fit me. Give me. And the guy timidly removed his shoes and gave it to him, to give it to those boys. How do I know this? Well. It's a story for another day. Shall we say that? It's a story for another day. All right, final comment here. It says, it is not an insult, right, to a child for someone to put their hands on the child or encroach on their privacy, but an abusive elder or adult wants to feel entitled to respect. I laugh because I'm not the mother who will trend for crying because they bullied or abused her child. The first the public will hear about this is when they're accusing me of using my money or my husband's influence to intimidate people. Because anything happens to my child, I am throwing hands and I'm locking up people's parents too. Apparently this person is saying, don't come near my child. The truth is, our times have changed. As one of the callers said, well, maybe because we've imbibed a lot of Western style culture. But whether it's the imbibing of the style of other people or the fact that we have evolved, certain things don't sit well with the general public, and that is the bullying or abuse of children. So maybe children should be taught how to defend themselves. I don't know.
Nigeriainfo. Right back after this.
The Access Holdings rights issue is now open. For every 2 ordinary shares in your portfolio, take advantage of the chance to acquire